actually making this video. This is insane. Hello, sweet friends. I have a really big announcement to share with you. This is something that has been in the works for a really long time. Some of you on Instagram have already guessed what the announcement is, and those of you who came to the Barnes & Noble meetup recently know all about it. No, I'm not pregnant. That is not happening anytime soon. This has been on my heart for so long. Just sitting down to make this announcement video is something I've dreamed of being able to say out loud. I can't believe this is actually happening, so I'll just get straight to it. We are going to be moving abroad this summer. Hopefully this summer, as long as everything goes smoothly and according to plan. The even more exciting part that I'm so excited to share with you is that we are moving. I can't believe I'm gonna say this. I can't believe I'm saying this. We are moving to the English countryside. I'm not gonna get emotional. Ooh. This is something that little Desi has dreamed of for a really long time. There's so much to talk about. I got a lot of good questions from you guys on Instagram, so I just want to dive in and explain why it's happening, what our motivators were, and how we narrowed it down to England versus some of the other countries we considered. I have all of your guys' questions written down, so let's just dive right in. Future Desi cutting in here just to take a minute to introduce you and say thank you to the sponsor of today's video, BetterHelp. With this move comes a lot of stressors. There's going to be a lot of excitement, but also a lot of unknowns. I know that I'm going to be turning to therapy just like I have the past few years whenever life feels a bit heavy or too much for me to handle. And whether I'm going through highs or lows, therapy has always been something that I have turned to, and it has helped so incredibly much. I know firsthand that starting therapy can be hard, especially going into an office. BetterHelp is online based, which makes it so easy to connect with one of their over 30,000 licensed therapists. You have the option to choose whatever format works for you, whether that be phone call, video call, text messaging. Their therapists are there and ready to provide helpful and unbiased advice. To get started, you fill out a quick questionnaire to assess your specific needs, and then you get matched with your therapist in most cases within 48 hours or less. I love that you can access therapy at your convenience, scheduling sessions that work at a time for you. If you don't really mesh well with your first therapist, they make it really easy to switch to a new therapist at no extra cost to you. They make it really easy to receive the support that you need. If you're considering therapy or just curious about how it could benefit you, you can click the link down in the description or visit betterhelp.com/Desi. That's betterhelp.com/Desi. By doing so, you're not only supporting my channel, but you'll also get a special 10% off discount code for your first month of BetterHelp, so you can connect with a therapist and see if it's right for you. Thank you again so much to BetterHelp for supporting my channel and sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to it. The question we've received the most is, why are we moving? We just moved to Rhode Island last year. Why are we moving again? The reason we moved to Rhode Island from Utah in the first place was I had felt for a long time that I just wasn't a desert girl. I didn't feel like I was thriving being in the desert. And what you saw in my videos in the mountains in Utah, I loved that, but that's not where we lived. We lived on the foothills of the mountains, and I would drive into the canyon to go in the mountains to film, and not even just to film, to go read, to parks and walks with D'Artagnan, but that wasn't where we lived, and actual daily life took place more in the valley, and it was a lot more deserty. I just really felt like that wasn't where I was meant to be. Fast forward, after me and Jared graduated college, we were living in Utah, we decided to travel full-time, and we did that for 6 months, and one of the first places we went to was England, specifically Bath and the Cotswolds and the countryside, and I fell in love. And I remember turning to Jared and saying, this feels like home. This feels like a place that I could live. And that was years ago. Then COVID happened. I got sick with long COVID and all of that, so we decided to hunker down in Utah for a while. During that time, I just started feeling like I need to get out of here. Not because I didn't love it. I cried leaving Utah. I loved it, but I just felt like this calling to go somewhere else. And I firmly believe that where you're born or where you grow up isn't necessarily where you're meant to be. The world is so big and so wide. There are so many places to choose from. This might partially come from growing up with my dad in the military. I got used to moving every couple years. So I think that's just kind of in my nature. But at that point, still dealing with long COVID and other health-related issues, we decided that it wasn't the time to move abroad while I was still trying to heal. So we decided on New England, because if I was gonna live anywhere in the United States, I just knew I would be happiest in New England. And let me tell you, it has been an absolute dream living here. I have been so happy, which leads me into another question. Did this mean you didn't enjoy New England as much as you thought you would? Absolutely not. I would love to live here. I love it so much. Every day when I drive around our little town, I think about how grateful I am and how much I love it, and how I don't think there could be another town in the United States that is more perfectly fit to me than our little town here in Rhode Island. I don't even think it's a town. I think this is a village. Maybe not. The population is like 3,000. It's perfect, except for the fact that everyone here has had Lyme disease, not even once, not even twice, like sometimes 3 or 4 times. Our neighbors down the street from us, they've both had Lyme disease. Our landlords, one of them has had it twice and the other one has had it 3 times. And then a lady that I met at an antique store said that she's had it, I think, twice, and she feels like it's made her brain go dumb, like she doesn't think the way she used to. And I relate to that so much since getting my Lyme diagnosis. I always knew ticks were a problem, but I didn't know how bad it was going to be coming from Utah, where you can go roll in the grass and frolic in the mountains and you will never see a tick, hardly ever. I think if you grew up in New England and you were used to it here, then it would be just like a normal way of life for you. But for me, it was a huge culture shock moving here, deciding that I want to go have a picnic outside in the morning, and I bring out my breakfast and a book and I lay there on a picnic blanket, and there are ticks that are crawling up on the picnic blanket. And our yard has grass like this tall, and it's cut, freshly cut. There's nothing you can do to escape them here. I know England has ticks, and I've looked at Lyme disease maps there and just seeing where it's the most prevalent. I know you guys don't have to tell me England has ticks too, and they can be bad. I've looked at the numbers. I promise you they're not as bad as they are here in New England. So that was the first thing that me and Jared started to rethink about our decision to move here. But let me also say that when we moved to New England, we used it as a period to decide if this was where we wanted to settle down, and if not, that we would continue with our adventure of moving abroad. After thinking about it for a while, we decided we don't know if we're ever gonna have kids. We don't know if my health is gonna get worse. We don't know what the world is gonna look like, so why not go abroad now while we have the chance? And if we don't enjoy it, we can just come back. So to sum it up, why we're moving is because we feel like if we want to experience more of the world, we should do it sooner rather than later. I feel like we are adventurers, so that is part of the why. Another question that kind of piggybacks off of this is, has your experience with feeling better after the food on your Europe trip contributed to the move? That was actually what pushed us over the edge to actually go forward with this move. We went to Austria in January to go to a ball, and while we were there, we were eating so much food. We felt so good. I was never bloated after any meal that I ate there, which is something that I experience almost on a daily basis here in the United States. And I eat mostly whole foods, organic, from local farmers here. Thankfully, we live in a really rural farming community, which has been such an amazing blessing. But as someone who already tries to do so many things to be healthy, it blew my mind how much better and lighter and just healthier I felt while we were in Austria and Germany. So after we got back, we said, let's see how we feel while eating our best that we can here in Rhode Island for the next few weeks. And it just all came back, all of the bloating, all the nausea. On my end, Jared's more okay, but ever since long COVID and all of that, I've been a lot more sensitive to food in general. He saw how I was struggling and he said, okay, let's do it. Let's go. We can't have you keep eating this food that is sprayed with all of these toxins and poisons. Even though we're eating organic, there's still stuff in the food. That is a huge part as well as why we have made this decision. I know that England is not known for its incredibly healthy food the way France and Italy and Greece are, but it feels like a step in the right direction. Another question was, is this going to be a permanent move? Do we plan on settling in England? Honestly, we don't know. The plan is to go there for 2 years minimum, maybe 3, and really give it a chance, but also use the time while we're there to travel a lot internationally to Italy, France, Germany, Austria, and see if we could really see ourselves settling there more permanently. Or if we decide that we love England, we could end up buying a house there. I like that we don't really know. I feel like it's gonna be an adventure. It's so expensive to fly from the United States to go over to Germany or Austria just once, but from London, we can get flights to Italy or the south of France for just 100 euros versus $1,000. So that was a huge factor and something we're very much looking forward to. The world is so big and I just yearn to experience more of it. What fears did you have to overcome to take this step, and how did you go about this? For me, the biggest fear has been, what if we put all of this work and effort and money into moving and it's not what we hope it will be? And I think that is a fear that you can replace with so many experiences in life. What if I take this job and leave this one and this one isn't as good? What if we buy this house and not this house and we don't like it as much as this one? So that has been the biggest obstacle in my mind, but I've told myself that anything worth doing is going to make me feel uncomfortable at some point. And that uncomfortableness is where I'm gonna grow and expand my mind. And I know that living in England or anywhere we go is gonna be hard at first, but I truly think that we can be happy and make the best of it no matter what. And like I said, if we don't like it, we can come back. So it's been hard to think that we're leaving something great behind for something else. It feels like we have an ice cream cone in one hand and a chocolate bar in the other, and the ice cream is so great and I love it, but I know the chocolate bar is gonna be good too. They're just two great things that we're choosing between, and I feel so privileged and grateful to even have the ice cream and the chocolate bar to choose between. For good or bad, it's gonna change me, and hopefully good ways. And I know I keep saying me, but I mean me and Jared. We definitely made this decision together. He was less like gung-ho about it, but he's totally down for whatever. He's extremely laid back. As long as he has me, the fur babies, his gaming equipment, and good outdoor activities, he's happy. Doesn't matter where. He has thrived in Hawaii, Japan, Taiwan, Alaska, California, Rhode Island. He's happy anywhere. And I'm so grateful that he is down for this crazy adventure. Okay, this is a great question. It says, what were your top priorities for you to choose a new location? So now let's get into what other countries we considered. We were really looking at Germany and Austria because I have German heritage. I'm 1/4 German, and whenever I've gone to Germany, I just feel like I'm at home. The language sounds so familiar to me. I grew up hearing it. I watched German TV shows and listened to German music, and it just feels completely natural to me to be surrounded by people who speak German and German foods. Oh, the German food. We really loved Switzerland, but there was no way, after looking at the visa options for us, there was no way we really could have gotten a visa there. And then also France, but not as heavily as we were considering Germany and Austria. Our top priorities were a little bit different for me and Jared. For me, it was, and don't laugh at me, these are things that are important to me. One was having bookstores nearby that have English books, because if I'm in Austria in a little village and I go to a bookstore and they're all in German, of course, because it's Austria, I'm not gonna be able to buy any of them, which you might say, like, you're in Austria, you don't need an English bookstore, but these are just little things that I think it's really important to consider when you move abroad, because it's so easy to romanticize the idea of it, but then daily life is going to be something that is different, and sometimes those little things are actually the things that will affect you the most. So being able to get in my car and go to a bookstore and pick up a book is something that was important to me. Also, really good healthcare and access to doctors that speak English. I know in Germany, in our experience, everybody spoke English, and I know there are English-speaking doctors, but the idea of calling up a pharmacy or going to the ER or having to fill a prescription in German, that was something we were considering. How important would it be to us? Another thing was access to food that doesn't have as many pesticides and toxins and color dyes and preservatives as we do here in the United States. Friendly people. I love you Germans, but sometimes I get the hotel to go up and ask for something or have somebody go out of their way to do something to help me. I would be a little scared of talking. We were considering people in Ireland and England that we've met were so kind and so friendly. And the people in Germany and Austria were just a little bit more blunt. It's fine. It's just, I'm a little bit more sensitive to it, maybe. I'll go home and wonder, what did I do? What did I say wrong? I should have spoken German better, and then spiral sometimes. So language, friendly people, access to travel, trains, just the ability to go for a weekend somewhere, which was why we were leaning to Germany and Austria, because of the proximity to all the other countries and just being able to get on a train. For Jared, it was taxes, where he feels like our business would thrive the best. Access to snowboarding, because he is a big snowboarder. Access to outdoor activities. We love being outside in nature, especially during spring and summer. So it came really close between Germany and England. Those were the two that we settled on. We were leaning towards Germany because of the snowboarding that we could go to in Austria, the mountains, the beauty of nature, the healthy food. But ultimately, while I am still healing and working on a lot of health stuff, we chose England over Germany because of the language barrier. I know that it would have been fine, but at the same time, I just feel so much more comfortable communicating in English. Along with that, we feel that the transition from the United States to England would be less tense and difficult than a transition from the United States to Germany. So we could always do the United States, England, and then decide on Germany, and have England kind of be like a bridge to Europe and a different way of living in general. So either way, I feel like England is a great option for us at this time. Now moving on to the second most popular topic of concern is the fur babies. Are you bringing your fur babies? What is the process like? How will you travel with them? Vet checks, costs, quarantine. Guys, when we went to Germany and Austria just barely, I think it was our 7th or 8th day, like right before coming home, I remember telling Jared, I wish we could just leave a day early because I miss Gatsby. And the others, I know you're not supposed to have a favorite, but Gatsby is my soul animal. And I was feeling so detached from part of my soul. So of course we're bringing our fur babies. D'Artagnan, Binks, Benedict, Gatsby, they are all coming with us. We have a list of vaccinations that they need. They need to be microchipped, be up to date on their rabies and everything, and they can come with us. They do not have to quarantine. We will be able to get them right off the plane and take them home with us. D'Artagnan will have to fly underneath the plane. I'm not actually sure about the cats yet, if they can fly with us or if they'll be underneath as well. It's gonna get figured out. Costly, yes, but absolutely worth it to bring them with us, because even if we're just there for 2 or 3 years, that's 2 or 3 years. I would never leave them with a family member for that long. I can't stand being without them for a week. So yes, they are absolutely coming with us. Another question was, how does this work with Jared's job? Does he have a flexible remote job? If so, are they hiring? I guess this is something that you guys don't know much about, but Jared works with me. We run this YouTube channel together. He does the whole business side of it while I do more of the creative side of it. He also does everything with the sweatshirt launches that we do. That is all Jared. He works with our production team. He does all the customer service emails. He ships out every single order by hand while I'm usually filming or editing. He has been doing this with me for a few years now, and it has been the most incredible experience. We love working together. Our skills really complement each other. I'm so grateful to have him. Another question was, will you be buying property or still renting? We will definitely still be renting for at least the first year. If we're gonna buy a house, we want to make sure that it's an area that we really love. Renting is definitely what we're gonna be doing, but we're not gonna be on a furnished rental this time. So once we do settle down, we will be shipping all of our stuff over, just not at the beginning, because if we don't love it and we wanna come back, then it would be pointless to ship everything over, then have to ship it back again. So we're waiting until we actually do find a long-term rental that we like, we sign the lease, then we will ship all of the furniture over, which was another question, was am I gonna be bringing all of the books and all of the furniture back in Utah that is still in storage? And the answer is yes, we will be bringing everything over as soon as we sign a lease for at least like a year to 2 year rental. Now for the visa process, this is something that I could make a whole nother video on, just to briefly touch on it. A lot of you guys asked, how do you get a visa to move when you're being self-employed? Is it expensive? How long is the process? What visa did you get? We are technically not self-employed. We have a business that is set up that is mostly for our sweatshirts that we sell. And me and Jared are technically employees of that business. I've always known the UK is super hard to immigrate to, especially as Americans. So how this visa situation is working, so we got in touch with a law firm that specifically specializes in immigration. I'll leave the website of the law firm down below. I know they have a lot of lawyers. Ours has been great. We haven't got our visas yet, so I can't vouch for them completely, but so far it has been really great and really helpful. They said, based on everything we told them about our business and our income, that the best way to go forward was to establish our business in the United Kingdom. And then once our business is established and set up there, the business will sponsor me and Jared to come over there as employees, which is basically just how our business is set up here in the United States. We would not be able to do any of this without the help of our lawyer. Right now, we are still in the phase of waiting for our paperwork to be set up in the UK as a business. Right now, the process we're looking at is 4 to 5 months. So we're hoping to go this summer, but our lawyer has told us that things have slowed down recently. So as long as we're doing our part as fast as we can, we just have to hope that the UK offices move our paperwork along. So we're just keeping our fingers crossed and praying that things will work out for us sooner rather than later. Our lease here at our house in Rhode Island is technically up at the end of May. I so badly wish we could just go over to the UK then, but our lawyer has said that we should stay in the United States until our visas fully come through, just in case we have to go get any fingerprints done or anything like that. So we might just be getting an Airbnb for a month or so, just waiting for our visas to come through. To be completely transparent, it is quite expensive working with a lawyer, but I don't see how we would have been able to do this by ourselves. Our lawyer has even said if we were just skilled workers looking to move to the UK to get a job, we probably wouldn't need his help, but because of how intricate our specific situation is, it is probably good that we're going through them because they know all of the ins and the outs of the laws and all of that. So if you're just a skilled worker or if you want to go to school there, it's probably a lot easier than the route that we've chosen. We have been saving for this for a while, so we're prepared and I'm confident that it is going to be worth it. You guys also had questions about what my YouTube content will look like. Will my content change with this move for the good or the bad? And what are the goals of my channel in the future? Guys, my content is gonna stay the exact same. It's just going to be in the English countryside. How am I saying that? Oh my gosh, guys. Don't tell me I'm romanticizing the English countryside when it's not really that great, because I've been there. It is great. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna be sick, but in a good way. Every time I say it out loud that I'm moving to the English countryside, my brain is like, no, you're not. Because when it's a dream that you've had for so long and it's within grasp, you start to tell yourself like, no way, that's not actually gonna happen to you. I know that it just seems like a simple move, but like I said, this is something I have wanted for an incredibly long time. I think there are certain places in the world that are like meant to be where you live. I have experienced that feeling 3 times, 4 times. The very first step I took off of the airplane on Oahu, I knew it was home. I went to university in Hawaii and immediately it was home. It wasn't somewhere I had to adjust to. I never got homesickness. And that also happened in Provo, Utah. I lived in other places in Utah. I lived in Ogden and lived in Lehigh, but as soon as I got to Provo, I don't know if it was the mountains, I don't know what it was, but it was home. And then when we were traveling in England in the countryside, we were on the outskirts of Bath. I don't know if we were actually in Bath anymore at that point, but we were driving along this winding road. There was like a bookshop on the corner, and then we went up to these houses and we saw one for sale. And I just remember feeling like, this is home. This is home. And then we kept traveling. We went to Greece, went to Italy, went to Malaysia, and all these amazing places, and it never happened again. But then when we got to Rhode Island, I was driving along the road and you see the ocean on one side, and there was like a mechanic shop and an antique store. And there was just something about it. Normally a mechanic shop, like I wouldn't be like, I was like, that's my mechanic shop. This is my town. And it's the best feeling. I say this knowing that moving is not something most of us can do right now. Buying groceries is hard enough. But if you have felt the desire to move, to go somewhere, to find a place new, to start over and start fresh, if it is something you've been thinking about, that you've been wondering if maybe you could do it, maybe just keep on wondering and see where it leads you. I know that moving is a huge thing and not just something you can decide to do, but I just want to give that little nudge if you have been thinking about it or thinking about leaving the United States and moving abroad. There are a lot of people that are doing it. I just want to say you probably know what's best, and if you feel it in your heart, maybe you feel it for a reason. So yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to cover. I know you will probably have some more questions. Please let me know what they are in the comments. I will try my best to answer them. You guys are going to be coming with me. I cannot wait to take you around the countryside as we go house hunting. Thank you so much for all of your endless support. Guys, this move wouldn't be possible if YouTube wasn't my job and you guys didn't watch my videos, and my patrons, all of you guys in Honeywood Hollow. I'm forever endlessly grateful to you guys. If you're subscribed, thank you for being subscribed, for following me throughout the years. I am forever grateful for you. You guys are literally making a lifelong dream of mine come true, and I owe you so much for that. I love you, and I will see you again in a video very soon. I hope you have a wonderful day full of magic and that you take care of yourself. Give yourself grace. I'll see you very soon. I love you, friends. Bye.